Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome to post-match live stream edition of Messi and Co. Wow. I'm Ashley. That is Gian. We will give people a couple minutes to join, but Inter Miami get a very unexpected, crazily earned win away against Philadelphia Union with only 9 men. There's so much to get into, Gian. There's a lot of highs, obviously, a couple lows that we need to talk about, but overall, what a entertaining, crazy game of soccer.
Like you said it, a game full of highs and lows, just incredible all over the place. A first half that really saw a very uh, poor Inter Miami team from the offensive standpoint as well as from the defensive standpoint, and I thought that that was quite worrisome at the beginning. Some of the stuff was expected, obviously, but not such a major drop off, knowing that your main playmakers were missing. It was quite obvious in that first half, defensive mistakes that were made in that first half, and not much going for an Inter Miami team that I thought had more than enough to have a better performance in that first half. And then we go on into the second half, and it is quite a different game in that second half from all different aspects. I mean,
Yeah.
just from the play itself to, an Inter Miami team that looked much better offensively, an Inter Miami team that really put itself back together on the defensive end and looked better right there. And then goals, obviously, we've got some goals from guys that we didn't expect. I mean, Leo Afonso and Yannick Bright, the duo we never thought we needed or knew we needed.
Wow.
That was just incredible. So I think that I don't want to get too ahead of myself. There are quite a few things that we can break down, but definitely I think that as we talk through this game, just kind of talking about some of these key individual performances, things that some players should have done better. I think you know what I'm referring to here, as far as from a discipline standpoint.
Yeah.
What the
Which we will
defense,
definitely get into.
yeah, some of the defensive errors and things that we should have done better, and also I think, especially in that first half, looking at how maybe that team could have looked a little bit different in regards to some of the positioning and that sort of thing, because I think that was a bit off. So I'd love to get into some of that.
Yeah, 100%. Everything you said, I agree with. I'm going to start just showing some comments and things, and it'll be kind of a good jumping off point for us, I think. The youngsters were put to the test in this one and pass. Bright needs more time. I love the way he plays, very confident and strong defensive presence. So I think that's a really good place to start. Let's start with something really positive, which is the 2 goal scorers and the 2 goals that were created, right? Julian Gressel, who you said earlier, to your credit, you called like it would be an unlikely but really good goal. And you were right. Absolute banger. Great job by Gressel. Obviously, he's had a very up and down season in a lot of the fans' eyes. But a well-deserved, well-earned goal, who works very, very hard and is always available, right? We're about to talk to some players about some players who, even when they should be available, aren't, right? And they do things to put their teammates in jeopardy. And Julian Gressel is a lot of things, but he's not that. He never puts his team in a situation where that there's going to be a risk, right? Like sometimes his play isn't always perfect, but he's consistent, he's hardworking, and he's a good teammate. And in games like today, that is much more important than sometimes we like to think. So shout out to Julian Gressel for what was a really great goal.
Yeah, 100% shout out to Julian Gressel. I was on, as we usually are during the games, tweeting out and reading other tweets and that sort of thing, just to kind of stay up to date and all that. And I saw in the middle of that game, somebody mentioned how Julian Gressel was mid. And I'm not a teenager anymore, so I'm not exactly sure the full context of the word mid, but I think it's something negative. And basically, when I look at Julian Gressel, he's a guy that we've brought up this word many times, and even Tata Martino and others who have talked about him, and Tom Bogert was one of the guys who was speaking well of him today as well during the game. He's a guy that's consistent. He's a guy that you can put in any spot, in any position on this field, and he's going to do what you want and what you ask of him. He's
Yeah.
played right back. He's played left midfielder. He's played right midfielder. He's played right wing. He does everything. There are very few players that can play at any position whenever you need them and are available basically 99% of the time. Now, what the common misconception in my eyes is, for a lot of people, sometimes they want more out of him and they have unrealistic expectations. They expect him to be a flashy guy, a guy that can take multiple defenders off of the dribble. He's not Robert Taylor. He is not Matias Rojas. He has his own skill set, and I think he's done well. Again, there may be some games where we could, he ups and downs, however you want to see that. But I think overall, he's been a bright spot on this team. And I love that he was able to score today. I love that he was able to shut some mouths up and he was able to help this team get the win. And I hope that we realize that he is an important part of this team, and that's why he gets the minutes. And I'm just excited. I said it in our pregame this
Yeah.
morning. I was hoping he would score, and he did. So I'm just happy overall for Gressel and what he's going to continue to mean for this team as we hopefully make a deep playoff run.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm very happy for him. A couple other, in my opinion, players who I thought played really well. I thought even though a few of his last sort of like final third touches weren't perfect, I thought Benjamin Kramaski had a really good game and worked his socks off all game and did as much as he could to create chances and create opportunities and be on the front foot. So I think, I want him to continue obviously to refine a little bit, be able to score some of those goals and make those perfect passes, which I think he can do. I think he has the talent, right? And so I was really happy with his effort and performance. I thought Chelo Wengat had a much better game than he's had in the last few weeks. And maybe part of it was because he got more opportunity because they obviously are not working through Messi anymore or Suarez. And so he got more touches. Not perfect, but I thought he was better than I'd seen in previous matches, like of late. So I was happy for that. Campana was a workhorse all game, had to put in some really hard yards and running and did that. And so, want to give him a couple more chances and want him to finish one or two of those off. But from a positive standpoint, I think those three players, in my eyes, did well and did what they were supposed to do.
For me, I think this is more from a strategic standpoint and how he Dada planted the team. I thought that right side of the field didn't work well with Gressel and with Chelo Wengant on that right
Yeah.
side. To me, there a lot of times there was redundancy in the spacing. A lot of times they occupied the same positions up front. They didn't play well off of each other. There were multiple times where Gressel had the ball and Chelo would overlap on the right and not get the ball from Gressel, and he wave his hands in the air, and we're not talking about I don't care and dancing. We're talking about waving his hands in the air because he was pissed that he
Right.
wasn't getting the ball. And they're basically the same player, I think, on that side,
Yeah.
at least the way they function. So I think that there was again, just to what I said before, a lot of redundancy, and I wish that somehow
Tactically can get fixed. Yeah.
would have maybe changed or looked a bit different with having a speedier wing on that right side as opposed to Gressel. Again, putting Gressel in that midfield, I think would have looked better. Kremaski, I think that he is still trying to get up to what he was before his injury. I think it's taking him some time. I think he's done fairly well as he's getting back into shape and that sort of thing. And obviously getting back into shape, he was out of shape. He was cramping. On that last run, he
Yeah.
did his best. Props to him when Afonso had that breakaway. You could see Kremaski on that right side laboring, trying to get into the space for a pass. But he's I think still not at his top, but hopefully he'll get there. I think Busquets.
Oh, I think we lost Gian for a second. Well, you back? Okay, well, while we wait for Gian to get back, yeah, I mean, I want to go through some of your comments. That was crazy. We were rough, but pulled through. So, miraculously, we pulled through. Right? I have no idea how we did this. Alex said, and I agree with this point. I haven't been so angry watching a game until the end. I need blood pressure medicine now. Yeah, I was when it was the 82nd minute, 83rd minute, especially when Aviles got sent off, I was so angry. I had so much to say, and I still have a lot of those things to say, but the fact that they were able to get it, to not only get 1 point, get all 3 points is just amazing. Um, really happy Gressel found the back of the net. Definitely. I think some of the criticism he gets is fair. I really do. I think that he could be a little bit stronger with his technical, final third and his passing and even shots, right? Like in those offensive positions, I don't think he always takes it. So, yeah, I mean, him getting that goal and knowing how much effort he puts in and the consistency, I think is great, and he deserves his praise. Um, I don't want to get quite yet to the problem areas, which is mainly to me. We have to talk about obviously David Ruiz, and we have to talk about Tomas Aviles. But before we get to that point, because I want Gian to be part of that. Well, what I will say is that a bright spot, no pun intended, to come out of that circumstance is that Yannick Bright got to come in and get good playing time. He should have come in earlier, in my opinion. He's back.
Sorry about that technical difficulties, but we are back. So, but keep on going. Go ahead.
I was saying, but I'm ready to now talk about sort of the two issues of Ruiz and Aviles, but I was saying,
Yeah.
to start on a positive note of it, the good thing is that we're going to be having Yannick Bright, who's going to be playing, he's going to start at least the next 2 or 3 games. And that makes me happy because we talked about him earlier and I wanted him to start. I would have, hindsight is 2020, but I would have 100% started him over Ruiz. And I said that this morning when we spoke. And so now hopefully that mistake won't happen again. And so that's definitely a bright spot for it.
Yeah. I think for me, I try to be as objective as possible when I have my takes and that sort of thing. But just looking at Ruiz, I think that this isn't obviously the first time that he's done this to this team and left them with a man less. He did it in a Champions Cup. What was it? Quarterfinal or quarterfinal in Mexico on an elimination game.
No, in Inter Miami.
Yeah, and then in an elimination game that left them down a man, and now he does this. I think that it comes a point where you need to really look at him and say, is it worth having him on the field? Does he bring enough to this team that you're still going to give him opportunities? I'm past that. In my opinion,
I'm past it
I
too.
really am.
I'm really past it
I think
too.
you have so much depth on this team, especially in the midfield, where if you want to play on this Inter Miami team in their midfield, you need to prove that you're worth giving minutes to. And if you can't stay on the field in 2 huge moments, again, one being the Champions Cup and another one being that you are on your first game going into a really tough stretch. This is a game that's going to mean a lot to this team to build confidence as they go on to the next 5 or 6 games during Copa America. Like, come on. Like, to me, I'm sorry, he doesn't bring enough to this team to warrant him getting the minutes if he's going to be doing this. And I think that there were already questions before this about him. So he's just proving everybody right. He doesn't need to be on the field. And I'm quite over the whole David Ruiz situation here. I'm not sure if you touched already on Aviles, sorry.
No,
On
not yet.
Aviles.
No, I want to talk about Ruiz first too.
Yeah, but at this point he is really hurting this team and he's not bringing much on the other side of the field. There are other players that can take
it. And let me tell you the difference right now between those two. And I have a lot of words about Tomas Aviles, but let me first say the difference between the two is that when he's available, you're going to pick Aviles every single time to start. You're not going to pick David Ruiz. And because of that, he's just, it's a really big shame because he is very young and last year he took such a big leap and was playing so well. But this year, he's shown time and time again that he's just taken a real step back and that his maturity is not there and his discipline is not there and his playmaking is not there. And it's not consistent where, if you look at like a Casemiro or Sergio Ramos, etc., yeah, they got a lot of red cards and they had a lot of ill discipline, but they were also the best at their position. And so you managed it because, yeah, sometimes they got too hot-headed and they made a mistake and they got sent off, and sometimes it cost your team. But how many games has Sergio Ramos won for Real Madrid? How many games has Casemiro helped win for Real Madrid? You deal with it because of their greatness. Ruiz is not putting anything near his best on the pitch to be able to even warrant the ability to make these kind of mental mistakes.
No, I 100% agree. And can I just tell you why I'm laughing? Because I can already see the comments tomorrow on the recorded YouTube of this. Ashley, how dare you compare David Ruiz to Sergio Ramos and
Well, but
Casemiro?
that's my point. If you're not gonna even come close to that in terms of your skill set and your ability to influence the game, then it's really, really, really not going to happen. And so, yeah,
I
it's
know
just,
it'll just be taken out of context, is what I'm going to say,
well, and that's
because
fine. If anyone wants to take it
I've
out of
seen that
context,
done.
go ahead.
I've seen it done before, so I'm already laughing. Like, we're gonna read that, but
Maybe they
yeah,
will, but but I think the example is what I mean, which is
yeah,
that, people get red cards, people are ill disciplined, and people are hot headed. That's part of sometimes like the sports, and especially for a defensive minded player, you want that, but only if you match it with your skills. And his playmaking, his shot selection, his choices have been really, really poor, and because of that, I really hope Tata keeps him out for a little bit, because even when he's back from suspension, you don't deserve to start and you don't deserve to play, because that's being a really bad teammate. And that's what the problem
yeah.
is. If you're a bad teammate, then you're not adding anything to the field. And I think Yannick Bright adds more before even David Ruiz played today. I would have said that. I think Yannick Bright will give more. And now I think he certainly will. I will also say though, and again, this is a hindsight 2020, and I think it's a little harsh on my point, but that's also a situation where this is the 77th minute. Tata Martinez should have taken out David Ruiz 10 minutes prior, because he had a yellow card that he got in the first half. Inter Miami scored an equalizer, and you have Yannick Bright on the bench. He should have taken out David Ruiz, knowing he could potentially get a second yellow. And that's me being harsh, but I'm saying Tata Martinez is supposed to be, or Tata Martino, I don't know, I'm saying Martinez. Martino is supposed to be, he is the coach. He is supposed to be far wiser than David Ruiz and be able to, in my opinion, prevent some of those things from happening. In the game against Monterrey, this was only like the 62nd minute, and it was still, he
Well,
got those two yellow cards in really quick succession.
well,
This was 77 minutes into the match when he got the yellow card in the first half.
so I think that Tata Martino's biggest mistake was maybe just it's not even a mistake, actually. Let me take that back. It's not a mistake. He trusted David Ruiz to
Right.
play like a professional, and in both instances where he got a red card, it wasn't like a normal type of just unlucky challenge or that sort of thing. The first one in Monterrey was the thing with the hand unneeded, and this one was a very silly unneeded challenge that he did, very much unneeded. And I think that while Tata, maybe to your point, could have taken him out early, Tata also couldn't foresee him making another mistake. I think Tata trusted that he learned his
That's what I'm
lesson
saying. You
in
shouldn't have
Monterrey.
trusted him.
I mean, if you don't trust him, he's not on the field at all.
Maybe,
Like
maybe you're right.
I think that he has to trust them, and I think that now he learned his lesson, and I don't think he's going to make the mistake of trusting him moving forward. You only get so many chances in this league full of a lot of players. A lot of players want your minutes, and David Ruiz, I think, really messed up.
I think so too. And I mean, look, and it's nothing against him as a person. He's a good kid. He works hard, all those things, but he's young, and he made too many mistakes, and he made mental mistakes, and he needs to be punished for them, and he's going to be punished by getting suspended from the games, but he can't be the first he can't be the choice of the first three. Even with Messi gone, even with Rojas gone, even with Redondo injured, even with Gomez injured, he can't be the first three. He just doesn't deserve it compared to his other teammates. And so we'll
Yeah.
see how that is affected in the next few games. The other player who got a red card, who very similarly really disappointed me and his teammates is Tomas Aviles, who not only got a silly yellow card in the first place which caused him to be suspended that he really didn't need to do because the player on Philadelphia was not in a good position and he wasn't going to go all the way to the goal by himself. And so it was just a super unnecessary foul. The second yellow card was unforgivable, in my opinion. And that is something that is grounds for trading him, in my opinion, because I think with this win now mentality, and we talked about it with Danielle earlier this week, you need to have like your strongest possible 11, and while he has the talent, he doesn't have the mind, and they're not going to be able to risk that when it's getting down the stretch of the season, and when you have Messi back and you have Suarez back and you have everyone back and healthy and you're trying to win a championship. Absolutely inexcusable. Really, really bad.
Yeah, I think I don't feel as strongly as you do on this one. I think that Aviles is a guy that plays really physical, a guy that kind of wants to impose his will on whoever he's defending. I think that one of the issues with him though is sometimes he still lacks the maturity to decide when to do certain things. Like, look, there's a saying in Spanish, el fútbol es para los vivos, right? El fútbol es para los vivos means that soccer is basically for those that are able to be what would you call that? Soccer's for those that are able to be like um there's I forgot how you say that in English, but it's basically like you're able to make plays that others maybe wouldn't do, and you're kind of like,
Courageous,
yeah,
brave.
courageous, kind of like doing stuff like that. So for example, when he has that ball right there, I've seen other players do it, and they kick the ball to make sure that the other player isn't able to get the ball out, really quickly and that sort of thing. And other players do it, and sometimes they don't even get yellow cards. I think that what happened with Toto is he needed to be more cognizant of the fact that number one, he already had a yellow. Number two, know and understand who's refereeing the game. This is a referee that goes very much by the rules. That was carding everything. That was,
Third most yellow cards of all referees.
yeah. So I think that he needed to understand that. So to me, it's not necessarily that he kicked the ball. I've seen some of the
When you're
greats do
already
that.
down to 10 men, is that really necessary?
No, it wasn't necessary, but that's why I'm saying he needs to understand a time and a place, and understand. I think that that's what he lacks. And I also, again, just going back to, it's the referee. It's the referee that, to me, shouldn't have shown that yellow. He should not have shown that yellow. He has it in his discretion to do it if he wants to. It's a team. It's a great game. It's a team that's already down a man. It's not like he stopped a counterattack or something like that. It was just him passing. It's not like he kicked the ball into the stands. It was a very light touch of the ball. Like, that's on the referee as well. So while, yeah, I think that Aviles needs to be a bit more mature, to me, like, that should not have been a yellow card.
I honestly, I totally disagree. If you watch it, the referee's looking right at them. It's the 80 something minute, and you're down to 10 men,
Thank
and
you.
you know that you're suspended next game, and you know you don't have any more defenders available, and that you don't have Messi and you don't have Suarez. No, I think it's the player giving the referee a chance to make the decision is the problem. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you're more lenient than me, but he's shown, especially in the last 5 or 6 games, that he cannot make the right mental decision. Even if he's good and even if he's playing aggressively, I can name in every single game that's happened with at least 3 of them coming into yellow cards, which is why he's suspended. He's made an unnecessary tackle or an unnecessary penalty or an unnecessary mistake that outweighed how well he played. And he did it.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's the first time that's happened. He's done it the last 5 or 6 games every single game he's made a mental mistake.
Yeah, but true, but he's still our best defender.
He is, and
He
he's going to
he
play. But
also
I'm
has.
saying if we get someone better, if we can get someone better, I'm fine with him being traded for that person. Not yet. He's going to keep playing, obviously. But when the transfer market opens and we can get somebody, I would do that. In the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have said that. In the beginning of the season, I would have said you should keep Aviles and you should try and get a better left-sided center back. Now I think that he's given me 0% confidence that in October he'll make the right decision in a playoff game or in a championship game or in an elimination game or in a game towards the end of the season where we're trying to get the first seed and we're trying to host the championship. I don't have any faith that he's not going to make the wrong decision.
I would say this is his first red card that he's gotten. This is his first suspension on cards, and I would say that this wasn't a play that should have been carded if it was any other referee. So I wouldn't go that far. But so I think that that's kind of where we differ. I think he should have been smarter about it, but that's not a yellow card or should not be a yellow card in my eyes. And I think that if anybody's getting, I think if anybody's coming in, it's going to be obviously for Christoph. Like I don't think Aviles is going anywhere
We'll
right now
see. I'm
because
just
of Freire, especially because Freire got injured.
because of Freire. Yeah, I mean, look,
Yeah.
maybe, and I hope he learns from it. But yeah, maybe it's not a yellow card and it was soft, but giving the referee the opportunity to make that decision is your fault.
Yeah, I can
The
agree with that.
referee didn't just like decide to give you a foul and a yellow card and because he was angry. He watched it and he thought you did it and you
Yeah.
put him in a position where he could think you did it. And so
Yeah.
that's the
I can
problem.
I can agree with that part. But
Yeah.
one thing I would say is, so we've obviously talked about some of these players and some of the things that that were done negatively, but at the end of the day, hey, Inter Miami
We
went
won. Yeah.
into Philadelphia. They went in without Suarez, without Messi, their two top goal scorers. They went in without Matias Rojas, who would have been the next man up as far as creating and facilitating the game. And they went down one goal early and they came out with the win and an incredible heroic like
Excellent goal.
last minute down to 9 men, like the most I think unexpected win of the season,
Yeah.
with the duo, to how we started this off, the duo we never knew we needed in Yannick Bright and Leo Alfonso. What grit that this team showed, man, never giving up, fight till the end. And look, when you said I think you called 2-1, right? If
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. So you
Oh
got yours
yeah, you're
right.
right.
Yeah, you called 2-1. I called 1-1. And I
Wow.
said I would be happy
Could
with
be
the
wrong. Yeah.
draw coming out of
Right.
this. But they came out and they said, who cares that we're
Yeah.
down 9 men? Who cares that Messi is not here? We're going to take this W and leave Philadelphia with the 3 points. And I could not be happier, Ashley. This is awesome. What a confidence
So
booster
right.
for this team. What a great win.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, and I think we did enough talking about the negatives, which is the deserve that I think both players deserve to get, their comeuppance. But this was an absolutely incredible win. What a goal by Leo Alfonso. That is that player is either Brazilian, Uruguayan, or Argentinian. Not to be like, not to go down against other countries, but that's a goal that is just absolute techers, absolutely vicious. That takes like a real perfect kind of player to be able to score. And it was ballsy. I mean, Kremaski, he was slow, but he made it in the end. If Alfonso had just kind of served it, he would have scored. But he said, no, I got this. And he scored in the corner with an absolute banger.
Yeah, and I mean, just the speed that he was able to show, the composure that he was able to show, he made the right decisions. Afonso did at the end. He could have made a pass too early. He could have, tried to make an extra move and maybe lost the ball, but he was just the speed, the composure, his ability to get past the defender at the end, and the finish. The finish was textbook because again, we had
Insane.
Kremaski in the middle. Who knows how that would have gone, even if he would have put that pass in the middle, because we knew that Kremaski was running up there limping and cramped. Who knows if he would have maybe gotten a bad touch on it because of his physical
Right.
condition at that point. But no, overall amazing. And then again, Yannick Bright before that with the beautiful pass into space. And
Yannick
I'm just
Bright
really
is
happy.
an
And I think that
exceptional
Alfonso,
midfielder.
in my eyes, Alfonso should have gotten even more minutes that game.
Yeah.
I think that from the very beginning, we knew that speed was a bit needed, especially after that second half. I mean, excuse me, that first half. I think that it would have been great to have Alfonso and Robert Taylor. Maybe from the start of the second half, this game might have looked a little differently. But at the end, man, these boys really did not give up, and just what an amazing win. The confidence that these guys are going to go in with, knowing that they can pull off this type of win. And I hope that they're able to continue it Wednesday night when they come back home to play here. I really hope that they're able to just build off of this and maybe string 2 wins together. That'd be amazing, especially after, not being able to win in their previous 2, to win their next 2. I think would just be great. And hopefully on Wednesday, depending on, how things progress through this week, who knows, maybe we're able to get Redondo or Gomez back. We saw that Gomez was doing some individual training. So
Yeah.
to be able to be down your stars and down players due to injury, knowing that some of them will be back sooner than others, it's just great for this team, and I'm really excited for them.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, Leo Alfonso, I think at the very least, he will get to come in at maybe closer to like the 65th, 70th minute if he comes off the bench, getting even like 10 more minutes. I can also even see a situation where, I know you really wouldn't like it, but maybe we're going to see a 3-5-2 on Wednesday because we don't have defenders. But maybe we'll see a situation where you see Robert Taylor
No, you
on
didn't
the
say
right.
3-5-2. You didn't say 3-5-2. I left, but I'll come back. Just
You may see a situation where you see Robert Taylor on the right and you see Alfonso on the left, or Alfonso on the left. I don't know, but I think at the very least that one, Yannick Bright is obviously going to be starting on Wednesday,
Yeah.
and if not, then I will be like, I'll give someone in the comments $100 if Yannick Bright is not starting on Wednesday.
I could almost 99.9% guarantee that we will never see that 3-5-2 again. Because
who's our back? Who are our 2 center backs?
But it is. I don't even think that matters. I think if this team can't play with 4 defenders and 4 like
yeah.
the 3-5-2 is the formation in which we've received the most goals.
I know
this season.
I know, but you're not going to have any defenders.
And since you're saying that, I guess we can probably answer this question. So who's going to be sitting out next game? So for sure, no Aviles. For sure, no
Aviles or Tomas Aviles.
No Aviles.
You said Noah. You said Noah. You said Noah.
No Aviles.
For sure said Noah.
Nah, bro.
Chat. Did he say Noah or did he say no Aviles?
Chat. I said no Aviles. So I can't. What am I supposed? No Aviles.
Okay, fine. Keep going.
No hay David Ruiz. No hay possibly there's no Diego Gomez or Redondo, depending on how they progress. I didn't say that, Night Track. How do we ban people? I'm just kidding. But so we've got 4 in question. So we're not sure necessarily.
And Christoph, I mean, I think he's okay, but he took a shot and he's on his last legs too. So yeah, but a lot of people will be out again. I think to your point, we'll definitely see Yannick Bright start. I think we'll definitely see Ryan Saylor start. I wish to God we saw Ian Frey play, but I don't know if he's ready to start. I hope he gets to play some minutes.
Well, he played 60 minutes in IMCF too.
Yeah, I mean, so look,
we'll see. I think that's why he didn't play today.
I'd be like, wow, great, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't bet on the horses that he's going to start on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I hope he plays because Ian Frey will be incredibly important in this stretch if we can get him as a potential defensive option. And Ryan Saylor too. Ryan Saylor has had, he's had a couple ups and downs. He's young too, but I'd say at least maybe 7 times out of 10, I think that he does a good job and he does what they're asking him to do. He's young, he's quick. Sometimes he makes mistakes, but I'm not like, oh no, we have to start Ryan Saylor. That means this team's going to get 9 goals scored on them. Like, I don't feel that way. So I think that's not even my biggest worry of all the different worries that there will be.
Yeah, I'm more worried about really just the overall performance of this team.
Yeah.
I just want to see 2 back-to-back wins, and that'll give me confidence for
But we're
the rest of
playing
this month.
against a red hot team in Columbus Crew who are, who won the who just wait, are we playing we're playing them or we're playing Columbus Crew, right? Not Charlotte. We're playing Columbus Crew.
Yeah, I believe we're playing
Yeah.
Columbus Crew.
Who won the MLS Cup last year, right? And they are a really good team, and so they're going to be coming hungry for a win, especially knowing not only do we have our missing players to start with, but we're also missing, 2 other starters. So it'll be a really tough game. It'll be a bloodbath, but this was an absolutely incredible 3 points. I think we would have both been okay, even with 1 point, in that last 5 minutes, being like, don't let them score the winner, get a point. This was, there was a lot of poor decisions, and hopefully we can bounce back, be happy with the point. To get all 3 points is the best possible scenario after what was, a really up and down game. So we can only keep going from there, right?
Yeah, 100% agreed. It's just as I've said, as we've been saying so far this episode, this is a gritty, tough, well-earned match, despite a lot of up and downs, despite not looking good
We
in the
said we
first
were going to
half.
get interesting soccer, and we
Yeah,
got it.
I mean, despite playing a team that wasn't doing well, that hadn't won at home in a while since March, they did what we thought they would. They showed up at the very beginning, scored on us within first 3 minutes. The game became very complicated from the very get-go, and a lot of teams without their stars might have, or without half of their stars and injured, depleted, might have given up. But these guys stayed in the game. They never gave up, and they came in with that mentality that we're going to play till the very end, and they pulled off a very, very tough win. And it's funny, it wasn't a great game, but it was an
A great result.
interesting and a great result for this team in a really tough match.
It was certainly entertaining. It had my heart racing the whole game, I can tell you that much. But yeah, look, great win. Great win for Inter Miami. And, as we say, it's obviously one person doesn't dictate everything unless their name is Lionel Messi. And so I will say this: check one game that he's missed for Copa America. 5 to go, give or take, right? Like, we don't know exactly, but if we're, the objective of this team is, look, I want everyone to succeed. I want everyone to keep growing as players. I love a lot of the players on this team, and they work really hard, and I want them to have their individual successes. But the main goal and the priority is to get through these 6 games with as many points as possible. And this was, we're at batting 1,000 right now. We're at 3 points out of a possible 3, and just keep going and keep pushing and do as much as you can so that when Messi and Suarez and Rojas are back, and Gomez, hopefully he's still here, but is back, Redondo is fit and back, this team is going to go on a championship run and a Leagues Cup back-to-back winning run. And that's what I'm excited about. So game for game, one game at a time, we got the 3 points. We will be back with a preview show before Wednesday's game against Columbus. A little bit closer when we know what's going to, maybe some injury updates and some, suspension updates, who's available, things like that. We'll know with training early in the week. We'll do a preview episode. And as always, make sure you're following us on Twitter/X, Messi and Co, where we do live tweeting of the games. We let you know whenever we're going live. We let you know when we have new episodes, when there's team news, when there's injury news, when there's transfer news, everything you can think of. Make sure you're following us on Twitter/X to get the latest news. Make sure you're following us on YouTube. 5 Reasons Sports, notification bell on. Comment and like this video. Was your score prediction correct? I'm the Strongest of the week. Not to brag, but I'm the Stradamus of the week, and I will wear that crown proudly until our next preview. So thank you
Oh,
so much for watching.
Ashley, can I interrupt right before we say bye?
Of course you can.
Really
Yeah.
quickly, really quickly. And thank you for allowing me to
I love
interrupt.
when you interrupt me.
So I wanted to see if there was any Stradamuses, other people that got it right on our tweet asking what the score was, because we always say we're gonna shout them out. So I would love to shout them out if they got it right. Let's see.
Yeah.
Scores,
I
score predictions. Let's see. We have here 2-1 Gina. So Gina got it right too. So shout out to
Shout out
Gina.
to you, Gina.
Shout out to Gina. And let's see if anybody else got it right. It looks like only Gina did. So yeah, shout out to her. We've got two Stradamuses of the week. We've got Gina and Ash. So
Women know everything. Remember that.
yeah. I always tell my wife that she's right, and
Exactly. And
she's
you
on
know
the other
what?
side of the screen, and she is nodding. So yeah.
Well, Anna knows she's always right. So I always agree with Anna. Okay, well, thank you so many people for watching and tuning in. We had over 200 people for almost the whole entire episode. So thank you guys for watching and commenting and letting us know your thoughts. We'll be back sooner rather than later for another edition of Messi and Co. So thank you for watching. I'm Ashley. That is Gian, and we will see you next time.